Sorry, trying to see if that is started. Hello, everybody. I am live with you today. Have kind of a different location than I had last time, and I'm really trying to hide all my junk over here. My life has been a mess. I'll tell you about my emotional healing journey in a minute. But I'm in a different location of my home. Had to change some things around a little bit. But I want to thank you for coming. If you're watching this later, thank you for watching. And thank you for being here with me. My name is Michelee Smith Tynes, and I do a lot of things. I dance, I write, I'm a teacher. My most recent project is my book, my baby that I've been working on about my near-death experience. So I just want to thank you for joining me. I'm going to be talking about quite a few things today. First of all, I wanted to discuss some recent developments. And the most recent development is that I have a literary agent, which is so cool. I'm really excited about that. In case you're wondering, because the thing is, like before I got my literary agent, it just seemed like such an exacerbated experience to try and get an agent. Like, what do you even do? What is even the process of trying to start that whole thing? So honestly, everything was divinely inspired. I initially had gone through two editors that I was considering. One of them could never spell my name right, and that bothered me because if you can't spell my name right, and I'm trusting you to edit my soul, basically, I'm giving you my soul on pages, and if you can't do that, that's kind of a concern to me. So that didn't work out. Then the next one, she wasn't free in December, and I was really trying to put a push on this. And interestingly, I ended up self-editing through most of December and January. And then I was led to my editor, I believe spiritually, because she really does understand my soul, and that is huge for a book like this, where I'm talking about such spiritual things. In case you weren't able to see my last live, I was talking about how hey, Felicia. Felicia says, hello, how are you? I am blessed and highly favored. Thank you very much. Things are going well. It's been an interesting, bumpy ride, but it's great. Anyways, I was led to this editor by a really good friend of mine who said she'd used her to edit her dissertation. And it was almost like as soon as I spoke to her, her soul spoke to my soul, and my soul spoke to her soul. So going through, you've got to remember that this book that I'm trying to push out to you guys, it deals with me coming out of a coma. So that being the case, it started as a blog, and the blog was really, really disjointed and hard to understand, I believe. So it's kind of evolved from that. So I've had to rely on her to cut and paste things, put things, rearrange things where they go. And that was such a daunting process for me. So throughout the process of working with her as an agent, as an editor, I'm sorry, I discovered that she actually is a journalist. She has several published works herself. She's edited probably millions of words. And after my story spoke to her soul, she offered the opportunity to be my literary agent. And I was over the moon. I could not believe that because I had no idea how that would even happen. As for me, writing is definitely my soul. Like, there are two ways that you can actually look at my soul. One of them is by reading the words that I write, and the other way is by watching me dance. So if you ever want to see my soul, that's how you really see me. So for her to be able to take these words and craft them into something that's coherent for you, the reader, that's really amazing. So that's my super amazing news, is that since the last time I did a live here, I now have a literary agent. So I'm going to be having a special guest, and she messaged me right now. Um, just verifying something. Okay, so the near death story is in the final stages of editing. And as soon as that's done, then, we're going to start the process of query letters, and hopefully I can get it on with a publication, with a publishing house. And as soon as the press release gets pushed out, I will be posting that on Facebook. So make sure you stay tuned for that. It's just so exciting. Like, all of it is so exciting for me. So while I do have those other books that I'm working on, I do have a completed published work that's already done. And that is the Push Past It playbook. I'm going to put it on this side to balance things out. It's just so weird being in this tiny little space. But anyway, the Push Past It playbook is available now. And I have kind of I guess you would say a smaller role in this. The story that I wrote was so amazing to me that I've actually expanded it. It's about anxiety, which is a huge problem for many people right now, with lockdown. And then as lockdown is slowly being lifted, there are actually some other problems that are cropping up for people. So it's kind of a guide, a new way to look at anxiety, because I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. So the way that I will be sharing this with you will be completely different. So this is available now. If you'd like one of these, just inbox me, send me a private message, and I'll give you the details on how to do that. Like I said, this book was part of a compilation. So there are other authors that are involved, and one of them is Felicia was also part of that process. So one thing that you guys might be interested in is, what is that process like? Like, what is it like to start working on having a book that you're, going to get published? In this particular situation, it was cool because a really good friend of mine, Rhonda Colton, she has a mentoring group, and I was part of the mentoring group, and she decided to do a book collaboration. She's already done several, at least 3. I'm not sure how many, but at least 3. And I was not part of the others, and she invited me to be a part of this one. And at first I'm just like, I don't know, la, la, la. We make so many excuses to prevent us and block us from what it is that we really should be doing with our lives. So I thought about it, and then I decided to, pay for the fees and everything to go on and be a part of that. And as it turns out, it's kind of a nice little way to whet your palate, as some people would say, to just kind of really pique your interest and make you think about what the other things are that I might be writing. So that story is called Push Past Anxiety, and is part of the Push Past It playbook. I'll show that to you one more time. Push Past It playbook. And it just gives you a unique spin on anxiety that you may not have heard. Like I said, I'm not a doctor or a therapist. It's an observation from the side of a person who has it and is starting to figure out ways to deal with it. So I was part of a joint publication process, and, I basically submitted the work to her, and, I ordered the books. And then when you order the books, then, I'll accept your payment and then send you the book, which, as I expand the story, and I'm planning on uploading it, probably, I really want to try to get it done by this Saturday or Sunday, but I might need an extra week. I'm going to expand it and put it on Amazon, so that, from now on, when I do links, you'll just be able to simply click the link and purchase it from Amazon. And it is a very unique story that has, it's a unique story. It's a parable. And then in addition to that, there are coping strategies and skills. And in addition to that, there are special considerations for lockdown, which we've been dealing with for several months. And that is causing a lot of people to feel a lot of anxiety. So another thing is, as soon as I get that done, as soon as I get that book done, then I'll be turning it into a premium course. which I'm learning to do with, my guest is going to be talking about that in just a few minutes when I call her. We're working on how to develop premium courses. So, and included in that is going to be live coaching. So if you're interested in that, definitely inbox me and I will be giving you more details on that as it unravels or comes about. Um, and based on what's been going on in my life, I plan on, after I do the book about anxiety and then do the course about anxiety, I really want to talk about emotional healing. So I'll probably be doing another book about that. Obviously, I write a lot. So I'm going to just put a little plug in right here, and I'll say it a couple of times throughout. Please donate to my publication cost fundraiser. If you just go to my page, there'll be at least a couple of posts on how you can connect to donate to that. But my next book, I want to be about emotional healing. Um, Emotional healing is something that's not really understood by a lot of people. And I think I'm only starting to understand it because I just recently went through the process. When you go through emotional healing, it can be started by going to therapy, but also sometimes the universe, God institutes the universe to conspire this emotional healing phase for you. And when it happens, it'll happen from all over the place. It started for me with conversation with a very, old friend that I've had. And it dug up so many different things from my childhood, from my teenage years, from my young adulthood, that I've carried into my life as an adult, into my marriage, into the way that I parent, the way that I do my job. And it was very, very hard to examine these things. And this is the part that scares most people when it comes to emotional healing, because you have to do some deep digging, and it's just not pretty. It's not pretty. I think I had one YouTube post that said, "Wipe the snot away and keep it moving," because you have to be brave enough to go through that and get to the healing that's on the other side. When you have a big gaping wound, it's going to take some time for it to scab over, and you have to respect that scabbing process, and you got to deal with the wound while it's open. And so that's what emotional healing did for me over the past 2 weeks. It's part of the reason why I didn't come back on last week. I still would like to know. I have questions and I have a poll. I need to know when would be the best time that you think to do a live, because I'd really like to have more people and be fielding questions. That kind of stuff is fun for me. So it will cause you to examine, so many different things in your life. And some of the themes that came up for me is, a fear of rejection, which is common. But that comes up with a lot of attention seeking. And, sometimes I just really have to be careful of how I present myself to the world. So the universal question that emotional healing is presenting to you is, are these behaviors and habits still serving you? We develop coping mechanisms as children that help us, to survive. They literally help us to survive and present ourselves to the world. So when this happens, the universe is actually asking you, does this still serve you? Is it still in your best interest to continue behaving this way? And if you decide to give these habits up, what greater good is going to open up in your life? So I will be writing a book about emotional healing and discussing the ways that, it can help you in your life. And so I will be going into greater detail in that on my posts. And hey, there's my friend Leslie. Hey, Leslie, how you doing? Still taking care of that mental health. We all got to take care of our mental health, people. That is the responsibility of each of us. Each of us are responsible for taking care of our own mental health. So we reach out to one another, and then that's when our responsibility comes to one another. So good to see my friends here. But I'm going to go into greater detail on emotional healing on my Facebook posts and on my upcoming live sessions. Once again, please kind of inbox me and let me know when the best times are for you, for me to do a live. I know that sounds weird, but I like to start developing this so that I can have at least 10 people. And then, of course, when things open up and I start going to work again, I might have to change it. But for now, I'd like to know, when is the best time and date for you. So anyway, I wanted to start talking a little bit about COVID-19. And I first want to send deepest condolences to those who have lost a loved one due to COVID-19. And I want to send my heartfelt thoughts and love and light and prayer to anyone who's struggling with that. I know what it is like to be in a coma, and that in and of itself is an experience, obviously, because I'm writing a book. I've written a book about it that's in the editing stages right now. So just to review, there are thousands of people that have needed a ventilator and are currently on one. So a ventilator is not a very easy process. Being intubated involves having to be on very heavy drugs because it's actually incredibly painful. I don't remember the pain, but I do remember the effects of the drugs that were necessary to keep me in the coma. And also, hey, Sister Frazier, Sister Mathel Frazier, I love you. Wish I could get a hug. I so wish I could do a virtual hug. Oh, Sister Frazier gives the best hugs in the world. Anyway, aside from me, just saying, my hugs are pretty good too. Anyway, I was comatose, and right now it's like we're having a mass coma effect. There are so many people that are in a coma right now, but this is healing for all of us. All of us are to institute and initiate these emotional and physical health phases where we're healing ourselves. We have to heal ourselves. We have to heal our thoughts. We have to heal our spirit, the ways that we were injured, the ways we injured ourselves. We have to really stop and think about how we are living our lives. That's really what all of this is about. So I would like to say that, there was the ventilator. And in order to do that, the person has to be sedated, which involves very heavy drugs. And as a result of that, one thing that I learned, it wasn't my physical symptoms that almost killed me. For me personally, what I believe almost killed me was fear. And if you stop and think about it in your life, where is fear preventing you from moving forward? What is fear preventing you from doing? I know some people that say, I can't stand to see anybody in pain. Well, for one thing, if you put the person in pain, you need to make sure that you go back and help them pick up the pieces, that you restore them. And then if you can't stand seeing anybody in pain, do your best to relieve it. That is your job as a human. We are here to take care of one another. So, you can't just turn your back if it's hard for you to see someone in pain. You have a personal obligation to do what you can to help. And maybe that's not a lot. Maybe that's as simple as a prayer. Prayer is powerful. I feel like prayer saved my life. So I wanted to say that in addition to the fear that almost killed me, I think one of the things that kept me alive was everyone's well wishes and thoughts for me. There was not one person that, in retrospect, that I talked to that said they came to see me in the hospital 3 years ago that said, "Oh my God, she's on her way out. She's gonna die. I know it. She's gonna die." No one. Everybody said that God just had me rest for a while. I was just sleeping. I was put in a deep sleep. I had a lot of work coming ahead of me, and I needed to rest. That was important. And I feel like that saved my life. So if you know anybody that's in a coma, only speak words of hope and positivity. Be aware of what's on the television and the noises and conversations surrounding in the room. Don't, be careful of what's allowed on the television or radio. Auditory is very important, but also olfactory, things that they can smell. You really have to be careful of smells that come their way, because there are what I call interdimensional experiences, which you'll read about in my book. And don't allow anything negative. No news. Don't turn on the news or politics on their television. Really be aware of their surroundings, because they are not in a state to be aware of their surroundings. And their souls are traveling so many different places. Their soul is traveling out of their body. And so, with that being the case, you just need to do as much as you can to be vigilant and aware of what is coming into their senses. So on that note, I do want to remind you to be vigilantly responsible. I once again, before I had spoken to you guys about the Advance Directive, and so here's a copy of that one. I had actually gotten one from Kaiser as well. Where did I put that? Thought I had all my things right here. I actually posted a cover of that um, on my Facebook page. Sorry, somebody's calling me. So if I get a chance to get up from here, then will get up and show you what the one from Kaiser looks like. Hold on one second, guys. Sorry. This was just part of what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that I showed you. Sorry, disorganized. It happens. This is the cover of the one that you can get from Kaiser. Now, yesterday I took my son to get his shots. And when I took him to get his shots, I said, can I just have 4 Advance Directive booklets? And she just bought them right out to me. So also Kaiser has, if you go to kp.org/life care plan, they will help you with getting this filled out. But I'm just going to take a look at the first 2 pages, and I'm deciding that every time I do a live, we'll check out, a couple more pages. So the first page is just an introduction, and it allows you to name a healthcare agent, allows you to give written instructions about your healthcare, and you have to fill out your information, your full name, your medical record number, that kind of stuff, information like that. And then this here is information on your healthcare agent, so that they can know about that person. So here's the thing about this. I am doing my best to practice what I preach, but this needs to be updated for me. And I need to, really initiate the process for, my husband and my kids. My stepson is coming over today with his girlfriend, and I don't want to have morbid conversation. But like I said, you don't want somebody in a situation and then you didn't know what they wanted. That's terrible. Like, that's awful. And as I get to the other pages towards the back, all you need is 2 witnesses. You can get this notarized if you want, but all you need is 2 non-related witnesses. So actually, I was at work one day and one of the teachers just had me sign hers. And just that simple act made me think about doing this more often. The thing is to start the dialogue, have the conversation, get started with what it is that you would like. And it spurred a very difficult conversation with my husband because, I told him that after being in that situation, I really don't think I'd want to be there for longer than a month. And I just saw his entire face like fall. It was hard to watch. And so I said, okay, maybe 3 months. And he's not feeling that idea either. So I said a year. I initially had thought a year before. And then someone said something to me about if you get a feeding tube, the hospital determines when it gets taken out. But that is if you don't have an advance directive. So if you have an advance directive, you are actually effectively telling the hospital what it is that you want for yourself in that situation. So I told him a year, but I'm still going to finagle maybe down to 6 months. I was in a coma for only 12 days. My teeth were shifted. My muscles were beginning the process of atrophy. A lot of times, if you've been on a ventilator for too long, you have a lot of breathing problems. And just the interdimensional, hallucinatory, delusional experiences that I had were a lot. But he is so sweet. He's just like, I would be there. I would have waited. And I'm like, 3 years. He's like, I would have waited. I'm like, oh my gosh, oh, I don't want to be in a coma that long. And I know it's morbid, guys. I know it seems morbid, but we have to change the dialogue. We have to change the way that we think about these things, because you don't want to put your loved one in a situation where they're making a decision and they feel guilty because they didn't know what you wanted. So that's my little spiel on the Advance Directive. I am going to be talking about the Advance Healthcare Directive tomorrow on another live with a women's group that I'm a part of called Leave No Woman Behind. And I will also post that. So I've got about 5 minutes before I call my friend. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about journaling, and I'm going to actually show you some of my journals. One day I'll do a live simply about all the journals that I've completed. I am not lying to you. I can write a journal a month, depending on the size. Depending on the size, it's very easy for me to do. I have a lot of pens. My husband always jokes that I need to open an office supply store. Like I said, if you want to see my soul, look at my writing or look at me dance. Those are the ways that you see my soul. So I'm just going to show you some of the things that I do when I'm journaling. Like I said, lockdown is really spurring a lot of anxiety. So this is one journal. I don't even know which way it goes, that I created on forgiveness. My big brother, my spiritual big brother, wrote a packet on forgiveness. So what I did was I put each of them into little questions for me to answer. And I've really grown to love that idea of making my own workbooks. So I'll like put a question at the top of the page, maybe a question in the middle, depending on what size the journal is. And then I'll challenge myself to answer one per day. So this is one of my journals. And as you can see, I filled up most of that one. This is one that I did. Now, that's the thing. I do them for specific things. So this one is actually for my marriage. And this question is from February 22nd of this year. How can you remind yourself to pace yourself? So in marriage, it is important to pace yourself. You can't just solve all your marital problems at once. You have to pace yourself. You have to pace yourself with you and with your partner. And so then, see, here are some other ones where I, wrote something at the top, and I even have a few notes at the bottom dealing with the anxiety of financial situations. And then at the top it says, sometimes you have to vent, but you can't vent to him about him. So who can you vent to? That's an important marital question to answer. So this is one that I made for myself, my own workbook. This one, let me see. This one is dealing with codependency. And I'm going through a workbook on how to deal with issues of codependency. This one was my emotional healing. And this was only since 4/23, the last time I saw you guys. And out of all of this is pages that I took from other journals here. And out of all of this, I only have, I only have this many more pages left. And I have completed all of that. That's not even a month, is it? I'm a prolific writer, seriously. Now this one you might find kind of interesting. I got to call my friend in a minute. But this one is my life scripting journal, my future scripting journal. So I write things in here as though they've already happened. Like, I've already become a best-selling author. I write it as though it's already done. So this actually is instituting one of the Bible verses that faith is evidence of things not seen, the substance of things hoped for. Okay. So this is evidence right here This is evidence of faith. So this one, wow. I've been working on this one for a while though, and this one is undated. I never have any dates on it. I always date it at the top with just some little lines and slashes. So we're 30 minutes in, and I told my friend that I'd call her at 12:30. So let's take a phone call. How about that? I don't know how to do share screen, so if anybody knows how to do that, help a sister out, because I need some help on that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Okay, hold on. Let me see. How do I get to my friend? Here we go. Let's see. Her name is Latasha. Hey, how you doing?
Fabulous.
I'm trying to line you up properly, girl. Why can't I get you straight? There you are. And I told you I'm gonna make it work, right? I said I'm gonna make this work.
This is fun, girl.
So, what are you gonna talk to us about?
Okay, so you and I talked about my book.
Yes.
The first one.
Yes, the first. Book the first.
And you know what? There's a delay. I'm gonna go turn off because I'm watching.
I'm gonna turn this the other way too, because I don't like that it's showing my messy wall over there. Emotional healing is not easy. My house is a mess, y'all.
Look at this. You see this delay?
Okay. Yeah, I hear it. That's funny.
Okay, so I turned that down.
Okay.
And I'm gonna put the computer back in the closet so it doesn't interfere.
Yeah, and let me reduce this screen. Okay.
Isn't this fun? We're learning together.
I know. That is so cool. So everybody, this is my friend Latasha. It is so awesome to have a friend that like understands the chaos of my brain, because she's got the same chaos in her brain. Like they're just firing off like little gremlins. Remember the movie Gremlins? Pew!
Yes.
So tell us about that book.
Okay, so my first book, girl, it was a hot mess. It was a hot mess. It was, you just talked about journals. It was a bunch of scribblings from journals.
Really? Okay, see, God keeps doing this to us, because I actually thought about just taking pictures from certain of my journals and publishing them.
Yes.
Is that what you did?
Yes. Actually, I didn't do it that way. I read the journals and I just copied them because they were written, right?
Okay.
And so I typed them. And then I put them all together, made it look pretty, put it in a book.
Right.
And then just threw it out there to see what people would say.
Right. That is not a hot mess. That's ingenious, because I thought that myself. So it's ingenious. I'm just letting you know. Wow.
But at the beginning, it was a hot mess at the beginning.
Why was it a hot mess?
I threw everything down in the computer. And then my editor was awesome. She helped me organize it. And then when it was finished, it was like, oh, wow, okay, let's see what this is going to do.
Right.
And people read it and people were emotionally struck by it.
Really? That must have been powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
I had one lady call me and say, I need you to be a case study for a psychology class. I'm studying depression. I need you to be a case study.
Really?
And I said, come to my work tomorrow. Interview me at lunch.
Are you serious?
She interviewed me at lunch, wrote about it in her research paper, graduated with her degree, and cited me in her work.
That is amazing. Yeah. So when you actually got that published, what did that do for your self-esteem?
It went woo through the roof. The first 5 days, I was like this.
I know.
You feel naked.
Yeah,
You
you
feel
feel
vulnerable.
very naked and very vulnerable.
You're like,
I know. I know. Need some of
feels
those
like that.
fig leaves off of the fig tree, right?
Yes.
But you know what I'm finding? Because I did talk to whoever's viewing about emotional healing. It's that vulnerability that actually heals you. That's what I believe. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. That writing process, that publishing process, the process of hearing from the readers,
Right, I know.
that helped me get through, because when you're in a dark place,
Yeah.
it's hard for you to see yourself out of there.
Right.
It's like you're in a hole,
Right.
and it's dark. You can't even see how
Yes.
to lift yourself up. You don't know if
Yes.
you're underground,
Right.
or if it's just a door that needs to be
Right.
opened, or a window. You don't know what's in front of you, what's behind you. You're just stuck.
Right.
So when I poured my words out, threw it out, and people called me and said, "Your book helped me sleep last night."
That is so powerful.
I was like,
I know. That's amazing.
I was like,
That's
thank
so
you.
beautiful.
I was like, thank you for giving me that feedback.
I know. Because then you feel
a,
like your pain has a purpose. When you're in it, when you're in that dungeon, in that rut, and you're surrounded by mud, it doesn't have a purpose. But when you know you're pulling down, you've gotten out and you put down a ladder for other people to get out, you know, you feel powerful. You feel almost like a goddess, like, whoa, I get to help. You feel like Sojourner Truth, like, whoa, come on. Harriet Tubman, we all coming up out of here, okay? It's not just me. I'm going back to get you. I'm going back to get you. We're all coming out of this together.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then my daughter read it. My daughter read
that
the book,
is powerful.
And
which one?
I was in my oldest daughter, who's now 20 years old.
How old was she when she read it?
This was 2017, so she was 17.
That is perfect. Wow.
So I went into her room, and the book is 117 pages, so you can read it in an hour.
Right.
It doesn't take that long.
Right.
So she went in the room and closed the door and started reading the book, and I was like so curious to see what she thought. So I kept going back, and then she's like, leave me alone, And then all of a sudden, I heard her crying.
Oh, wow.
And I went into the room, and she was face planted on the floor.
Wow.
Hysterically crying.
Right.
And I said, "What's wrong?" She goes, "I remember when we went through this, Mom."
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. See, that's that emotional healing that I'm talking about. It's like, I think I told you this too. And I know I posted it on Facebook. Emotional healing is like throwing up for 3 days in a row straight. But the thing about it is, if that stuff gets kept in your spiritual body, it becomes a toxin, just like it does for your physical body. So you really have to, I almost say, take some vacation days and don't go on vacation. But that's what this lockdown is forcing us to do, even in the worst case situations that we don't want to think about, where people are getting beaten. And I hate to even think about that. But the thing is, there's healing in that also, because you get a chance to realize this is not the situation for me. And I'm a spirit in a human body. I'm living a spiritual experience. I'm acting it out in this human body. As a spirit, I can have free agency, and I'm leaving this situation. You know what I'm saying? There are things that you can do. Even children, anybody can do this. And so this is what this is forcing in us. It's forcing us to open up and change.
Yes.
Wow. So seeing your daughter like that must have been so powerful. But were you overcome by the emotion of it at first? Of seeing her? Yeah.
Yeah, I was, because I see, it's how much progress I made. I didn't know how much progress I made.
Right.
And getting all that out, like you say, barfing it out, when she had that response, I almost didn't understand it.
Right.
Because I had moved out of that.
Right.
Way out of that.
Right.
In my mind, I can't even identify with that experience anymore.
Right.
Because I have removed myself from it and I've healed from it.
Right.
So when I took her back, I literally took her back. I didn't know that's what the book did for her. It literally took her back in time.
Oh my gosh, that just gave me something. Took her back in time. You know what you sparked, right? Intergenerational healing.
Yep.
That's giving me chills right there. When you did that, you probably healed the generations before you as well. Because that stuff gets carried along, girl. You know, bag lady. Woo, girl. Erykah Badu ain't never lied, okay? Just dragging it along.
Yes. And guess what? My maternal grandmother, she has quite a story. She just passed away, but she has quite a story.
Really?
My mother didn't find out that was her mother until she was 16 years old.
Wow.
And my mother read my book and she was emotionally charged up.
Of course. Of course.
She was like, why would you expose that?
I know.
Why would you say that? And then I gave her a few weeks.
Uh-huh.
And a few weeks later, she called me back and said, I'm so glad you wrote that book. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you.
Right.
And I was a little, still feeling vulnerable and disturbed. And
Of course.
When she called me and said that, it was confirmation.
Right. That you did what you were supposed to do. Wow.
Obedience is better than sacrifice.
Right. Obedience is hard. No, that mug is hard. Let's not lie. That's hard. Because it's just like, you want me to take my clothes off and run down the middle of the freeway? Really? That's what it feels like. It's like, no, not today.
I say snatch the wig off because I wear wigs.
Snatch, girl. Snatch. Snatch it.
I said, look, I'm about to snatch my wig off.
I heard that. So then you did that one. How has your journaling process changed since your vulnerable, naked state of exposing your journals? Do you still journal?
I journal very little.
I see.
In the traditional sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have physically written so much and I braid my hair. And so my hands, I have a little arthritis.
I did too, but I'm not going to claim it. We're not claiming it, girl. We're going to heal it some kind of way.
That's why I said I had a little arthritis.
I hear you. I hear you.
So it's become a physical challenge because like you, prolific writer, I'm like that.
Yes.
So my way of journaling is YouTube videos.
I'm so glad you said that because I had wanted to tell you guys, you don't just have to journal with pen and paper. So after she talks about her YouTube videos, I'm going to tell you another way you can journal. So talk about your YouTube videos.
I make a YouTube video every day.
Nice. Okay, I might start doing that.
Every single day. And I listen to them myself. And my husband says, you listen to yourself again?
Yes.
And I say, yes, because when I'm making my videos, I make sure that I'm in a good state of mind. I have positive energy.
Right.
And the Holy Spirit is flowing.
That Holy Spirit is real, girl. That is real.
When I'm having a hard time, I listen to myself when I was in that state.
Right.
When the Holy Spirit was flowing.
Right. Do you name your videos of how you're feeling so that you can?
Every day I state what day it is.
Mm-hmm.
What time it is.
Mm-hmm.
And where I'm at that day, where I'm physically located.
Okay.
So that everyone knows and I know. Mm-hmm. And I have a topic and I don't know what the topic is until I start talking.
You know, I call that angelic intervention, actually. Sometimes the angels are telling you, sometimes God's telling you, the Holy Spirit is guiding you to what it's like a highlighter. Like,
Yes.
like Latasha, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but I just wanted you to know. Do you get that feeling sometimes? I get that feeling a lot. I do. Like, I just think you need to be aware that this is what's going on in your life. I call it subconscious programming. That's what
Yes.
the emotional healing was about for me. And it's done inadvertently. We do it as parents,
Yes.
oh, you're going to crack your head wide open. If you keep jumping on the bed that way, and you don't understand that you plant a seed of fear in your child's
Yes.
mind when you say things like
Yes.
that. And they'll be 30, 40 years old, not understanding why things are holding them back in life. You know what I'm saying?
And looking for the boogeyman.
Looking for the boogeyman. When the boogeyman is inside, girl, that boogeyman is right inside your head, inside your spirit, your brain. So that's profound. That's really profound. So you journaled that book, and then how did that encourage you to do the 5 books that came after?
Okay, so that was book number 1. Number 2 was a
do?
piggyback off of 1 because it was from the reaction from my daughter.
Right.
So I realized that she's sensitive to words and sensitive to ideas on paper. She's visual and kinesthetic. And I said, you need to help me write a book, girl.
Right. So you wrote a book with your daughter?
I wrote a book with her. I have it right here. She was my editor. So I wrote it. And I made sure, I said, this is a conversation between a mother and a daughter. This is a 40-something talking to a 17, 18-year-old. A lot of times we don't get each other.
Right.
And we were having the roughest time ever in her senior year. And I said, this is a conversation piece between me and you. Because she has started to realize that, okay, I grew up kind of sheltered. I sheltered her.
Exactly.
Her, right?
That was me too.
She was like, wait a minute. Some of the things you're saying and doing, it don't line up. And
harsh.
so that was the point where she was starting to question and starting to challenge and become her own woman.
Right.
And so we started bumping heads, and I said, you know what, I'm going to write something for her. But this is also going to be a conversation piece between moms and daughters. And it's called Sorry Boo, Mommy Lied.
I think I remember that book.
And it's called Now That You're 18, You Can Handle the Truth.
Right. You know what though? And I say this all the time. What you actually did there, that's a rite of passage. Oh, it's not coming up too clear. Let me see if I can. That is a rite of passage, everything that you just talked about. There we go. Sorry, boo, mommy lied. I'm gonna put the information in the description box on YouTube, and then I'll also post it on Facebook. Wow, that's a rite of passage right there.
And anyone who wants the book right now, I will give it to them for free. They can see the email.
Wow. That is so cool. Free books, y'all. Free books. Mine is going to be out on ebook soon, so I'm going to do pretty much the same thing. I was also talking about other ways of journaling. And sometimes what I do is I'll just set the voice recorder, and I'll do it that way sometimes as well. Also, speech to text programs. One that I use is Otter AI. And there's another one on Google Docs. If you use it on your phone, you'll see a little microphone. If you press the microphone, it'll dictate everything that you say.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I use that tonight with my writers group.
Yes, that's what I'm going to be using for my writer's plan that I told you about. Because a lot of people get intimidated by having to type. As for me personally, I don't know even how many words I type a minute. It just flows out of me. It's like I go into a trance almost, So, yeah. So that is totally cool. So, we're going to tell this viewing audience, sorry, y'all, my arm is getting tired. So poor Tasha is all wobbly on here, I bet. The thing is, we are working on developing courses, premium courses, right, my friend? Yes, y'all. Yes, y'all. So I've already told you guys that I'll be giving you more information on that. Miss Tasha and I are working together on a lot of things. So if you want to get in touch with her, just let me know. You could probably find her in my friend section. Okay, to give your whole name? Can I give him your whole name?
Yes.
Latasha Jimerson. So you can see if you can find her on Facebook. If not, inbox me for her books. As she said, she'll give that one to you free. So, make sure you get on that. But talk about what it's been like creating a course, because I already told the viewing audience that, books are one thing, but with the course, I'm going to be giving some live coaching sessions per week. And it's different when you get a chance to actually talk to somebody. So what's your high point with your courses?
Yes. Okay. So first I want to plug Danielle Leslie course from
We did that, y'all.
I mean, like JJ used to say,
dynamite. I gotta do it. Dynamite.
Top-notch premium course.
Right.
Premium.
Right.
I love it.
Right.
So I am actually taking her course for the second time right now.
Right. You just go through things so fast. You're such a you process things quickly. Yeah.
I sit for 6 hours.
Yeah, that's amazing.
On her course. I sit. She's in my ear all day.
So, but that must mean that you must be a little bit more auditory than you think you are, because I try to listen to her in the car on my commute when I was commuting, and it's just not quite the same as sitting taking notes. I really need to. I need to be interactive with it.
I'm engaging the whole brain, so I'm sitting at the desk and I'm writing notes, or I'm working on my social media posting.
Right.
On one computer, and I'm listening to her on another computer, and then I'm on my phone growing my Instagram list.
Right. And you said your Instagram.
I just increased myself to 150 more followers.
Over the course of how long? How long did that take?
5 days.
5 days. Wow.
150 new leads, people that I don't know, but people who are in my niche and people who are my perfect customer profile. Right.
So y'all got to buy the course if you want to know what all of that is. But the thing is, we're cranking courses out, y'all. We're cranking courses because the thing is, and this is what I believe that God brought me here to be a teacher, not just of little kids or big kids, but of people. And I think the same is true of you also, Tasha. So the thing is, we have to think about how we can reach as many people as possible in a short amount of time, because we don't want, I think I can speak for you as well. That ditch that you get in, that rut, is so horrible and so tragic. I wouldn't want anybody to stay there any longer than you have to. So we can give you the tools to get you out of there. Now, if you want to stay in there, that's something different. We can only help. We can only guide you to the answers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So can I give them the name of the course?
Yes, you can.
Because I have my framework done, so I know what I'm exactly teaching now.
Okay.
It's called Find Self-Awareness Through Self-Publishing with LT's 10-step system.
Woo! Steps always make it easier for me. I need steps. That sounds wonderful.
And I'm coaching through every single step.
Okay. How do you manage your home life around all of this? Like, your youngest is how old?
She's 11.
Wow. So how do you manage all of that? You put her on some self-directing tasks or what?
Everyone in the house knows what they're supposed to be doing at every moment.
You're a teacher mom. Like, I'm not a teacher mom. For whatever reason, my teacher skills don't translate to my home, but you're definitely a teacher mom. Like, you're like, I do this at work and y'all gonna do this too, okay? Look, this is what's happening.
My husband his office in the loft.
Okay.
He's up at between 4 and 5 a.m. reading.
Wow, that's really something.
No one bothers him. That's his time. And then my 11-year-old is usually in her room. She's up, but she's quiet. She's working on something. And she's also checking on the dogs early in the morning.
That's so sweet. Does she take good care of the dogs?
Yeah, she's doing a good job. If she doesn't, then the dogs got to go because I'm not an animal person.
I heard that. So they must be her dogs then, huh?
Yes.
Baby, you got to take care of your own dogs.
She got 2 of them. She's up early and she's up late and she's playing. And then she's also FaceTiming her friends. And then she's got homework to do. And she's a busy little lady.
Well, I have one last question to try to bring this around to what's happening in our world. And I try to always deal with that with as much respect and honor as I can, because it is a really serious situation. A lot of us are not impacted by it directly, but I do have respect for those who are. In terms of your daughter, has she said that any of her friends are struggling? Of course, not to mention by name, but are there any specific circumstances? Because what you said is very important. I think sometimes as a parent, you don't realize what it's like to be that age. And then you especially remove it from what it's like to be that age now.
Yeah.
You know, that age 20, 30, 40 years ago is different than it is now. So have her friends noticed that, or have you overheard or noticed any theme among her friends or anything that stands out?
They're in 6th grade. And so they are on FaceTime like you and I are right now. They are cleaning the rooms with each other.
Oh, that's so sweet.
She likes to cook. She's cooking a pancake French toast with her friend right here in front of her.
That's so cute.
It's cute. It's really cute. She has these little projects that she creates on her own. Because I tell her like my mom used to tell me. My mom would get up in the morning early and she would get herself ready for work. And then she would say, you need to make some business for yourself. Or you got a long list of chores for you.
I love that. Now you need to make some business for yourself. I am challenging you to say that to me. Now listen here, Michelee, you need to make some business for yourself today, all right? I love it. That is beautiful. I love that. So that is interesting because
Michelee.
Yes.
There's a few extra words in there that I took out. I hear you.
I think I know. That's the very PG version. That one applies to everybody. And I can use my imagination to figure out what the rest of it was. That's so cute, though. I love that.
Every day, I would get up and I would make some business for myself because I knew if I didn't have anything to do, she was going to make me do a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
And then some.
I like that. Well, I really think it's beautiful to end there, because the thing is, that is organic self-care. What the kids don't understand is by doing that, they are caring for themselves and they're caring for one another. They're actually taking care of their mental health. So I don't know how you can slide that in, but you tell those babies they are doing an amazing job. And sometimes us grown-ups, we need to look to them for the answers, because that is phenomenal. I love that. I love that. Any closing words for the viewing audience?
I guess I'm just going to tell everybody to go get some business for yourself.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Go get some business for yourself, y'all. Okay, I'm going to call you as soon as I'm done on this. That was fun. Must do it again. Bye. Okay, that was awesome, wasn't it? So I'm pretty much going to close with that. Let me see. I was talking about journals. I want to show you guys maybe a few more of my journals. So like I said, I keep a few of them going on at a time. And remember, there are many different ways that you can journal. There's no one particular way. My youngest son bought this one for me. It says, "Be the best version of you." This one I use for popular culture. Like I might hear a song that relates to what I'm going to at the time, and I'll write all the lyrics down. I might see something on a show that I can relate to, and then I'll write all of the script down from that section, and maybe how it applies to my life. This one is one that I use to take care of my mental health. When I go to see my therapist or anything that has to do with my mental health and my processes, I put in here. And then I have like a ton of these, just little note thingies. These just little, like you get these from the dollar store, these little doodling pads, I am just always writing. And so a clue for Tasha, if you happen to come back to the video, or anyone else, I always use gel pens because they kind of glide a lot easier, and it's just easy to kind of rattle off what it is that you're doing. So I am about to close, but before I do, I want to give you an action list. And before I do that, I want to tell my friend Therese Emmett, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate that. And Aunt Helena, thank you. I always love the encouragement and the support. That means so much to me. I put some questions in a poll. If you guys can figure out how to get to that, I'm still trying to figure out how to navigate Facebook Live, but you only learn some things by doing. So your action list is this. Your action list is, if you'd like to get a copy of the Push Past It Playbook, you can inbox me on that. It's going to be available as an ebook pretty soon. So, if you're interested in getting more information about that, just let me know. Also, if another action item that you can do is, if you are in a position to do so, please visit my Facebook fundraising page to fund my publication costs for my upcoming book, the awesome book about my near-death experience. And then I just wanted to remind you to visit prepareforyourcare.org, or you could visit, you could go to Kaiser and get the Advance Directive. So this is the one from prepareforyourcare.org. You can print that out right now. Remember, you have to be vigilantly responsible. And then this is the one from Kaiser, and Kaiser actually offers classes. Kaiser's, from what I've experienced, a lot of things that are happening, they're converting them to phone appointments. So you could probably definitely get someone to help you with those types of things. Let me see what else. Also, if you could inbox me and let me know, for you, what is the best day for me to do a Facebook Live? And also, what is the best time of day? Like, is it better for you if I do this at night or in the afternoon or in the morning? That was also part of the poll. So actually, that's all I have for today. I want to thank you guys for joining me here and going through this whole process for me. That's so interesting. I will be posting the replay, and I look forward to doing a lot more of these. I will be doing Instagram Live as well. And also remember that tomorrow I'll be doing Facebook Live again for my women's group. I'm going to be talking specifically about advanced care directives on that particular one, but I will post the replay if you'd like to see that. And I want to thank you so much for joining, and have a blessed day. Stay healthy, stay safe, and keep your head up. Bye.